Hey there, this is Catherine, and I'm going to be sharing 3 cards that I'm going to make using the My Favorite Things sketch this week. I'm going to start my first card with some snowflakes. I have a trio of snowflakes from My Favorite Things, and I've got some holographic paper that I picked up at my local Joann's, and I also have this patterned paper from the Celestial Pad. It is made also by Park Lane. These products are in my local Joann's. I think they're online as well too. But I love that I've been able to pick up some of these things locally. So I cut this paper down to an A2 size card front, and I'm going to take a second and lay out my snowflakes. I've also got my hello die that I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut that from white cardstock. But I'm going to begin with my snowflakes, and I'm going to cut them from this holographic paper. It's really thick and it's very inexpensive, and I love the sheen on it. It's been a favorite lately in my card stash, so I've been using it on lots of cards. So I'm going to use my diamond press machine to run these through. They're pretty delicate, so it'll take me just a second to get them out, but they cut like a dream. And again, that paper, I'm just loving it. It's really very, very sturdy. So even for an intricate die like this, it's quite easy to work with. So I'm going to glue down my razzleberry circle in the sketch. The circle kind of ends on the edge, and then I'm going to let that dry for a second, and I will trim off the edge, and I'm going to glue down the hello that I cut from white cardstock, and then I will start gluing down my snowflakes, and once that dries. So it will take just a second to glue the snowflakes down. Like I said, they are very intricate, but a lot of the glues these days have fine tips, so it's pretty easy to glue them, and they dry clear. You also could use adhesive sheets. I just have been forgetting lately to use them, and so then when I make a card, I need to glue them down, and the liquid glue has been what I've been using a lot lately. So I'm going to let those dry, and I will trim off the little snowflake that's hanging off the edge. I'm going to mount this onto a piece of bubblegum cardstock, and then all of this will go onto an A2 sized razzleberry card base that I thought would work well, pulling out all the pink in this, hoping to look like a wintry card. It's still cold where I am. So winter is not gone yet, even though I'm hoping for spring. So I'm also going to add a piece of silver ribbon. In the original sketch, they had a piece of cardstock running below the circle, but I decided I wanted to just use ribbon on this one. So I'm going to take a moment and tie my bow, and then I will move it into place so that it doesn't cover up my snowflake and the hello, and trim off those ends, and that will be it for this first card from this sketch. And now we'll move to the second card. I'm using a balloon bouquet from My Favorite Things. I'm going to start this project by stamping my image onto a piece of Copic friendly paper. I use the Express It, Blend It, I think is what you call it, and it works well for alcohol markers. Today I'm going to use my Copics. So I had this diamond paper in a paper pad that I just really liked. I loved all the different colors, and it kind of matched some of the Copics I had out on my table as well. So it all worked together, and I'm going to do a quick color of the bouquet. I don't really have a pattern in mind. I knew I just wanted to kind of incorporate some of these colors and pull them out from the paper. I'm keeping the coloring very simple. I'm only doing one layer, and I'm not really worrying about how perfect it is. I am definitely going to add some glitter glue at the end onto my bouquet. I thought it would be really pretty to have a glittery bouquet of balloons. And so I'm not worrying too much about my coloring. And I'm just going to finish up with this green one, and then I will die cut that out. I've got the circle also cut in white. On that same paper pad, there was a pink dotted paper. I chose that to go underneath the circle on this sketch this time. And then I'm also going to run my banner through that I stamped with that same paper. So I'm going to trim off my edges now on my piece of patterned paper. And then I will add my balloon bouquet. I am going to pop it up with foam. I'm not going to adhere the strings. One, they're very, very fine. It would be quite difficult to add foam to those. But also, I'm going to put this banner on top, and that will keep it in place. I just added the foam on the ends, and that will keep it secure. So I'm going to glue this down to a piece of sky cardstock that is going to pull out the blue, that darker blue color, and the diamonds. And then I will add this to another piece of the bubblegum cardstock, scoring this and cutting it to an A2 sized card base. So I'm going to glue that down. I love that bubblegum color. It's one of my favorites, pinks in my collection. So then to finish this one, I am going to add that glitter glue I mentioned earlier. I love the diamond stickles. That's one of my favorites that I use quite often. And so I'm just going to take a second and add a little bit of glitter glue to every one of my balloons. And that's going to be it for this one. On my last one, I'm going to use some heroarts products that have been on my desk. I have these flowers and bees stamp and die set. And I also had this fun peekaboo honeycomb background that you can use to have little bees or things underneath. You can make a little peekaboo card out. But I decided to, instead of having peekaboo, I'm going to just glue my whole background down. I love the way that it looks when it's die cut. So it adds a little bit of interest with those lines. And then I'm going to let that dry. I just went on and glued that onto my A2. I've got a wood grain frame that's also from heroarts. I used the largest one that's an A2 size. So I'm going to glue that down and let that dry. You see I got a little glue through there, but it will dry clear. And then moving on to the hexagon, I have stamped and die cut that. I stamped it onto white using pool ink. And then I'm going to take a few minutes to get my sentiment where I want it. There's also these cute flowers and a little bit of greenery sprigs that I stamped in 2 shades of green. And I made 3 flowers. And of course, I stamped some bees. So once I've gotten my placement for the Hello Sunshine, I'm going to take a second and stamp that in my black Gina K amalgam ink. And I will stamp that twice to get a nice dark image. And then I will start coloring a little bit of these flowers. It's kind of a peach color. It probably looks pretty pink on screen, but it's really a peach. And I'm just going to kind of flick my marker color out from the center of the flower. And that just adds a little bit of interest without having to do a lot of detail work. So, and then I will take my yellow marker and finish that off the center. I think I'm going to use, it was Y19, and I'm just going to literally just color the center. That's it. So keeping that simple, I liked the bold yellow against the white. So now I'm going to glue down some of the flower and the greenery sprigs at the bottom. And then I'm going to go back and pop some of them up after I add a piece of foam to the back of the Hello Sunshine piece. Now that my frame is dry, I'm going to add this on the right hand side on this card, following that sketch instead of the circle. I've got this shaped piece, and then I need to color my bees. Again, I'm using that same Y19 marker that's on my desk. And I'm going to also add a little bit of light blue to just break up a little bit of the white and the black in the wings. You can't really see it too much on camera, but in person you can see it a little better. I've got to place my bee and make sure he's not covering up my sentiment. And then I'm going to use some little dimensional foam pieces to pop up these flowers. I'm going to have one at the top. And then I've got my 2 bees left at the top and at the bottom. Again, sort of staying with that sketch. And that's going to be it on that one. So those are my 3 cards. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know, leave me a comment, let me know which one you like the most. And be sure to like and share if you like what I'm doing, and subscribe, don't forget. But be sure to share with friends if you have friends who like to make cards. I've been enjoying making these with sketches and just finding inspiration in nature, hoping that spring is going to come soon. So thanks for watching and have a great day.